is my hobo day. 210 and VD! Yay! VD for everybody! All of you can have my VD today. It is going to be a fantastic day. Let's go to Maine. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting ready to bust a move on Slay episode number 47. Happy VD, Rob. Got a little dressed up for y'all. Got a little tie on. Got all groomed up, shaved and buzzed my hair and stuff like that. Waxed my butt. I got everything covered, ladies and gentlemen. Just for you. Everything is covered just for you. All right. You know what? Since we got a lot to cover today, and my significant other is going to be up here later, and she looking good, son. Woo, she looking good. So you guys will get to feast your eyes upon that. Nyoka, what's up, baby? I am fancy, Rob. I am fancy. All right, everybody, here we go. Once again, for the people on Twitter who sometimes are new to this, now we start the read of fiction, which lasts for about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the episode and the episode length. And then after that, we are going to talk about, of course, our Super Bowl picks. And, of course, we're going to talk about John Tweedy's Valentine's Day poetry. A lot of beat poet stuff going on. We got that jam set up, ladies and gentlemen. So let me turn off my VD. There you go. And let's get into it. Time to rock and roll. Hi, Virginia. Hi, Robert. Thank you, Brian Kane. I try to look sexy, son. I didn't wax my butt for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Oops. Hello and welcome to Slay episode number 47. If you're curious about my fancy tie, I happen to be recording this live on Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to you no matter when you might hear this. Let me get you caught up on the story so far, and then we're going to dive right into the action. At Kellius Droman's mansion, Lincoln fought Teddy Two Fingers and his gang. Lincoln saved Droman's 13-year-old daughter, Delilah, from being kidnapped by Teddy, but he couldn't stop Teddy from killing Finikus Palmour, Delilah's bodyguard. As Droman himself was about to arrive at the mansion, Lincoln called Ariella, hoping she could negotiate a deal with Droman, a deal that would see Lincoln get paid for collecting a bounty on the head of a man who kidnapped his son. And now, episode 47 of Slay. Kellius Droman walked around the pink carpeted room, avoiding stepping on blood, human or giant centipede. He clearly didn't want to get any on his $1,000 shoes or his fancy green suit. You told me you needed a protector, Kellius, Ariella said. Not a killer. Sure seems like you need the latter now, doesn't it? Ariella had dressed up for the occasion. Lincoln hadn't seen that particular outfit of a low-cut white top, black skirt and jacket, and the seemingly ever-present black pumps. She stood in a blood-free corner, one hand absently toying at her garish turquoise necklace, watching Droman the way an owl eyes a mouse. It does seem that way, yes. Droman looked through the insect-drilled hole in the floor, down to where his vine golem had collapsed into nothing more than leaves and stems. Although if Lincoln actually killed the kidnappers, that would have been better after all, wouldn't it? Lincoln was sprawled out on the pink couch where Sophie had crashed after he had lopped off her forearm. He didn't mind the blood. He had his feet up on an armrest and a bloody pink towel pressed against his cheek wound. Oh, blow it out your ass, Droman, Lincoln said. If you'd have been here or hired an actually skilled bodyguard, that would have been better for all, too. Delilah was sitting on the armrest of a pink recliner. She had changed out of her blood-streaked onesie and into silk pajamas, slippers, and a robe. All puke pink, of course. Droman's tall assistant, Morgan Stone, wrapped what looked like damp seaweed around Delilah's wrist and arm. Lincoln could not tell if Morgan was a dude or a chick. He, or she, wore a kung fu-looking outfit, pale yellow with purple paisley cuffs, The kind of thing Bruce Lee might have worn if he'd been taller and also dabbled in interior design. Droman moved from the hole to the corpse of the bodyguard Teddy Two Fingers had slain. Palmour came highly recommended, Droman said. A shame. Morgan smoothed Delilah's seaweed flat. Kahiyani tuka, he said. Or she said. Whatever. The seaweed dried and shrank all at once, becoming a form-fitting, skin-tight cast. Delilah raised her hand, looked at it. She flexed her fingers, made a fist, turned the hand this way and that. Thank you, Morgan, she said. It feels so much better. Morgan bowed, then walked to Lincoln. It wasn't just Morgan's gender Lincoln couldn't pinpoint. He couldn't nail down any ethnicity. Morgan was tall and thin, with the long, heavy hair of a Native American, yet that hair was white as snow. Mr. Franks, Morgan said, I will heal your wound. Yeah, I'll just keep bleeding for now. Thanks a bunch, Lincoln said. What language was that you spoke? Kapanoka, Morgan said. It's quite old. Morgan walked to the wall and stood silently, hands at sides. This assault on my home will not be tolerated, Kellius said. Lincoln, you told me one of the attackers wore a breastplate? Baldwin, Lincoln said. But who's counting? Kellius looked to Morgan. Is that who I think it is? Most likely, Mr. Droman, Morgan said. Lincoln's description matches my observations of Sophie Jankovic, whom we interviewed for the bodyguard position. Maybe Sophie had felt spurned, so she tracked down Teddy to get some payback. Or maybe Sophie had been working for Teddy all along, and Droman not hiring her had inadvertently saved his daughter from being spirited away the first time he wasn't looking. Sounds like you have good hiring instincts, Ariella said, which I trust you'll put to good use now. Ariella, pushing for Lincoln to be Delilah's bodyguard. No way in hell. Lincoln had shit to do. Who was the other woman? Lincoln asked. That bug wizard chick. That was Haimana, Drummond said. She is a former protege of mine, years before Delilah was born. We did not part on good terms, to say the least. I fear the kidnappers may try again. Of course they'll try again, Lincoln said. It's Teddy. He'll keep at it. Trust me. Droman nodded. As I expected. There will be a price for Haimana to pay, and for Sophie, and for Teddy. I'll see to that personally. Lincoln sat up. Get in fucking line, Droman. That piece of shit Two Fingers is mine. Kellius raised an eyebrow. Language, if you please, Lincoln. My daughter is present. Lincoln stood. Language? There's a dead fucking body lying on your floor, centipede shit splattered on the walls, and your pathetic attempt at a golem is already rotting away downstairs. I'm pretty sure your daughter can handle a lot more than a few drive-by F-bombs. Lincoln, Ariella said. Delilah is 13. As if that mattered a lick. Look, Droman, Lincoln said. Let's get down to brass tacks. You hire me to hunt Teddy, and I'll make all of this go away. Bodyguard, schmodyguard. Ariella wasn't seeing the big picture. Lincoln could hunt Teddy and get paid for it. Droman stroked his beard. How long have you been looking for Two Fingers? 3 years? 4? Why would I spend my money on that? You're muscle, Franks, not a detective. If you could find Teddy, you would have long ago. I found him this time, didn't I? And lucky for your daughter, I did. Droman walked to Delilah, put his arm around her shoulder. Yes, it was lucky for Delilah, he said. And lucky for you. You accidentally stumbled upon Teddy. While I'm grateful you did, I doubt you can do the same twice. Ariella had told Droman how Lincoln found Teddy. That stupid woman didn't know when to keep her trap shut. She didn't give a shit about Delilah. All Ariella wanted was the deal. Regarding your previous offer, Ariella, Kellius said, Franks becomes Delilah's bodyguard, and in exchange, I train this lad Walt. I accept. A wolfish grin spread across Ariella's face. Oh, that offer? As you said, Kellius, that's previous. I have a new offer that benefits all sides equally. Lincoln is Delilah's bodyguard, part-time, only when you're out on business and not in Lumencia. In exchange, you train Walt, and you cover Lincoln's monthly retainer of 20 gold pieces a month, plus 100,000 cash in U.S. dollars. Lincoln's jaw dropped. 20 gold and 100 large? A month? Why didn't she just ask to be paid in a space shuttle full of quaaludes and sparkly unicorns? Outrageous, Kelly said. Morgan, how much was I paying Finikus? A touch over 1/10 that amount, Mr. Droman, Morgan said. Morgan stood so silent and unmoving, Lincoln had forgotten he was there. Or she was there. Or they were there. Whatever. 1/10? Ariella nodded toward the body on the floor. Looks like you get what you pay for. Lincoln saw Delilah drop her head. A man had died protecting her, and her father and Ariella discussed the man like it was nothing more than a data point. Outrageous prices, Kelly said. I could hire a small army for that much. What a douchebag. He was a literal billionaire. That much money was nothing to him. Delilah lifted her head. You could stay home, Daddy, she said. Lots of people work from home these days. You wouldn't need to hire Mr. Franks, and I would be safe. A chill fell over the room. The expression on Droman's face told Lincoln that father and daughter had had this conversation before, and that Delilah already knew how it would end. I have important interests to attend to, darling, Kellius said. You know this. Delilah once again looked down. I know, Daddy, she said. I know. Had Droman really used the words important interests, as if those interests could be more important than his own flesh and blood? Delilah's right, Lincoln said. Don't make the same mistake I did, Droman. Get your shit straight and protect your family. Where the fuck were you, anyway? Droman's green eyes widened with anger. He wasn't used to being spoken to in that way. Franks, you have no idea the demands on a man of my status, he said. I had labor issues with my factory in Thailand, and you mind your tongue when you talk to me about family. Why, that arrogant little prick. Droman needed a punch in the mouth. Droman needed, This is a good deal for all, Ariella said. Kellius, you get the best in the business protecting your daughter. And let's be honest, I could charge 3 times what I'm asking, and it still wouldn't even be a rounding error in what you make every damn day. Lincoln headed for the door. It's a moot point anyway. I am not a bodyguard. I am going after, and we, Lincoln, Ariella said sharply, get a new source of income that will help with the repairs to the old stone church. Oh, did I mention that Magda and Walt almost burned the whole thing down a few hours ago? The training room and part of the workshop needs to be replaced. The training room and the workshop. On top of the nave and all the furniture and a new movie screen for Magda and clothes for Billy and food and property taxes. They needed cash. No way around it. The bodyguard gig was part-time. Lincoln could get some teddy hunting in, and if Lincoln could swing it, he could find a few hours to visit Callista's place and ask, beg was more likely, if she would let him observe Sam on the shelf one more time. I'm in. Lincoln looked to Kellius. Are you? Kellius met Lincoln's gaze, then looked at his daughter. Delilah continued to stare at the floor, her blonde hair hanging down. She was almost as still as the motionless Morgan. I agree, Kellius said. Ariella, you have a deal. She strode to him and shook his hand. Oh, one more thing, Lincoln said. Your Miracle Grow maniacs out there got a bit overzealous. You owe me a new fucking bike. Magda and Ariella watched workers carry out the last of the burned training mat. Saws screeched as other workers cut away the burned ceiling timbers, while still others installed temporary support poles to bear the weight of the building above. Ariella had used her necklace charms to make temporary walls in the basement. Those walls, which hid Magda's workshop and the 3-lane gun range that doubled as storage for whatever didn't fit in the workshop, looked as old and felt as solid as the basement's real walls. I'll say one nice thing about you, Ariella, Magda said. You know how to get shit done. Ariella sipped at a glass of necklace-conjured champagne. Boys, take a break, she said. We need 15 minutes to look things over. The workers set down their gear and left the basement. What are you doing? Magda asked. Ain't you one of those time is money bitches? Time is money. Ariella set her glass on the cement floor. I need a moment, Magda. I have something that'll improve your life, Lincoln's life, and our business. What was Skinny Miss Thang up to? Improve my life? Magda said. You turning this place into a weed farm? Ariella smiled. She looked like a completely different person when she did. She reached to her necklace, pulled at one of the turquoise chunks. Magda saw, instantly, that the chunk was a vessel of containment, made to store larger items inside of it. Ariella pulled forth a golden ear cuff, the very one Lincoln took from the Lich in Lynchburg. Oh, that's so sweet, Magda said, but I don't wear jewelry. I had Lincoln acquire this, but I didn't tell either of you what I hoped it could do, Ariella said. I didn't want you to get your hopes up in case I was wrong, or if it didn't work that way. But it does. When you wear this, Magda, you'll be able to see what Lincoln sees, hear what Lincoln hears, and you'll be able to talk to him as if he was standing right next to you. Magda saw the obvious application, and yet she couldn't believe what Ariella was saying. Talk to Lincoln, she said, stumbling over the words. You mean, like... Ariella nodded. Like you used to, when you were Rixators together. You won't be cooped up here all the time, so to speak. When Lincoln goes hunting, you'll go with him. Billy Middleton floated in a field of absolute light and total darkness. His body twisted and contorted, warped a million different ways, broke into atoms, and came back together. All of this 1,000 times a second. With a soundless snap, he found himself whole again. No walls, no floor, no ceiling, no nothing, save for the pitch-black infinity and blinding white nothingness of transit. And, bonus this time, he hadn't puked. His first solo trip to Cordis. He could barely contain his excitement. He was on his way to learn how to use his powers. If he could go back in time and tell his scrawny, nerdy, 16-year-old self that he'd someday have a pro athlete's body and powers like some kind of superhero, that 16-year-old self would have laughed and asked if he was hitting the pipe. Lincoln had returned to the old stone church. Magda sutured his cheek. Lincoln did not want magical healing this time, he'd said. He wanted the scar. He wanted to remember. Maybe if Link backed off the booze, he might not need scars to remember shit. Link's preparation for his first bodyguard shift included a shower, drinking half a fifth of Yukon Jack and popping half a dozen Percocets. Kellius Droman wasn't home because he was in Cordis waiting for Billy's first training session. Droman apparently did not fuck about. He wanted to start immediately, which Billy couldn't complain about one little bit. Magda had walked Billy to the Old Stone Church's men's room and made sure he pressed the right tiles. Whoom, Billy was in transit. A solo trip to the Magic City. This was some Wizard of Oz shit right here. Now that Dante Oganov was out of the picture, no more bounty on Billy's head. Billy could explore Cordis and see more than the back alleys that led to an extremely horny gnome's orgy dungeon. Billy sensed a change in the nothingness around him. His transit was almost over. "Man, here it comes," he said, steeling himself. He braced as well as he could, but there was no preparing for a sound like that of a million tortured souls crying out all at once, and the swelling of the nothingness / infinity to a mind-blinding pop. Billy found himself on a stone platform ringed with totem poles, tall statues, and ornate sculptures. Gateways to dozens of places on the surface, or what Billy had once thought of as reality. People, and other things, walked in and out of the totems, arriving on or departing from the platform. One of those people, a tall man in a pale yellow kung fu outfit with paisley purple One of those people, a tall man in a pale yellow kung fu outfit with purple paisley cuffs, walked straight toward Billy. Lincoln had told Billy that Droman's personal assistant would be waiting on the platform. "Walter Riggs," the assistant said, bowing. "I'm Morgan Stone." Kind of a feminine voice, though, wasn't it? "I'm Walt," Billy said, hating that he'd used the fake name. Was he supposed to bow back? He had no idea. Morgan stood straight. "Come with me, please. Mr. Droman is waiting for you at his nonagon." Nonagon? Was that like a 9-sided building or something? Billy assumed they would descend to street level, using the same hole in the platform's center that he and Lincoln had used when they'd come here, but Morgan instead walked to the platform's edge. Billy saw various flying things landing to pick up or drop off travelers. Giant birds, flat carpets, horses with wings and without, and dragons. Many different kinds of them. A couple looked long and sinewy, like Billy's dragon, but there were other sizes and colors as well. This city. What a spectacle. Fantastic buildings of all shapes and colors, some round, some square, some squat, some heavy, others with spires and towers stretching high. Sparkling, gleaming, glistening. So much to see, far more than he could take in all at once. So much to see, far more than he could take in all at once. "Here is our ride," Morgan said. Of all the crazy things, a giant joined pair of maple seeds, had to be 20 feet across, helicoptered in, spinning madly but flying with precision. The pair of seeds stopped spinning, landed with one wing flat on the platform. Morgan walked across the wing, stood atop the joined seed heads. "Get on, Mr. Riggs," he said. Or she said? Billy stepped onto the wing and stood next to Morgan. "Wanatsutkali," she said. "Kotala nu." The huge twin seed shot away from the platform, helicoptering like a blurry buzzsaw. Billy stumbled, but quickly realized that was a loss of balance brought on by the blurring view of the city below. He had felt no inertia whatsoever. "This shit is bananas," Billy said. "Total fucking bananas." Morgan gave him a side eye. "We will be there in minutes. A word of advice, Walt. When you train with Mr. Droman, avoid cursing. He does not like it." And that was episode 47 of Slay. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll be back with episode number 48 when Billy gets a hard lesson in magic and in life. Good day. Yay! We're all done. Baby girl, come on up. Get on up. Get up and get on up. Hey! A's mic is off. Jen in the chat room says, why does my brain spell bananas anytime someone says bananas? We can blame that on Gwen Stefani. B-A-N-A-N-A. Shit, I can't spell fucking bananas now. High school cheerleaders and Gwen Stefani. Do you remember that? This shit is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. I don't remember how the song goes. Virginia, how are you? Good. Horny Gnomes Orgy Dungeon coming this summer to Disney World. Coming spelled correctly. All right, guys, we have got we're gonna do here. As soon as my lovely wife comes up, we're going to quickly talk about our Super Bowl picks because someone almost nailed that shit spot on.
Can you move your computer?
I can't. Oh crap! I always forget something. Oh shit! We got snacks and treats, treats and snacks, snacks and treats, treats and snacks. I got your microphone on, babe.
Oh, come here.
Hold on one sec, guys.
Come on in.
This is why we win all the Emmys. This smooth transitions. We won an Emmy last year for smooth transitions. Smooth operator, smooth operator.
Go on.
I've been in Key Largo, bitches. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you ready to sit down, babe?
I am.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, look who is here. It is, of course, a real girl herself. Now we switch to A-cam. See how this looks? Something weighing your feet, babe?
No, I got to get my headphones. I'll be right back.
Ah, crap. Hold on, we got to raise this.
No, I got it.
I got to add that to the checklist. Headphones got to be out of the checklist. You look gorgeous.
Thanks.
You look gorgeous. You know what else looks gorgeous? Plate of snacks, dog. Check out this plate of snacks, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hold up a second?
I'll try, yeah. So we didn't do much other than hang out with you guys for Valentine's Day, but I did get a handful of Valentine's Day treats, mostly from Trader Joe's. This is a
Bring the mic
red
over a
velvet.
little
Oh, sorry, totally forgot about it. Totally forgot about the mic. That's
There you
better.
go. There you go.
Red velvet cake that Scott stole from a buffet over the weekend, and then cherries. I don't know why they're in season now, but they're lovely, and he loves cherries.
Mm-hmm.
And then these Trader Joe's made these little raspberry mousse bites, and these heart-shaped somethings that are covered with caramel that Scott likes. And you love only that flavor, so I saved them all for you.
Coconut jelly beans.
Trader Joe's put out a little tiny bag of like Valentine's themed jelly beans, and these are coconut. The white ones are coconut, and they're the only ones that Scott likes, so I saved them for him.
I'll try not to eat too much on the camera, but always being on camera.
That's true.
And in short, we're spending our Valentine's Day with you guys. So happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's
Happy
Day.
Valentine's Day. All right.
Let me open my computer.
The jelly beans are super
Yeah,
gooey. I'm going to save those for later.
Jelly beans were probably a bad idea, you guys. I'm so sorry. Ooh,
Yeah. There we go. I'm giggling like a 4-year-old over here.
Valentine's
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, see if I can get this right. We got to go to our Super Bowl scene. Billy gets a hard lesson.
Oops, sorry.
That's you. There you go. Billy getting a hard lesson, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, why? Oh, crap. It's all gone.
Oh.
Footer.
Did you change it over for this week?
I did not.
Oh.
Let's see if there it is. Nope. God darn. Vamp for a second. Let me see if I figure out what I did wrong.
So I think what he's doing is calling up the Super Bowl picks that we made the last Sigler in Place. Obviously, the Super Bowl was this weekend. And
Yeah,
if
obviously.
you didn't watch, it was the Kansas City Chiefs, and they played the San Francisco 49ers. And there were 5 of us, if you count Reese, who made predictions.
Dang,
Scott
damn
did,
it.
Rob Otto did, I did.
That sucks.
Big John Vizcarra did because he lives in the Bay Area, and he is a huge Niners fan. And Reese Pieces did. Reese Pieces didn't quite understand the rules, mostly probably because she doesn't speak English.
She picked the
so
Georgia
she
Bulldogs.
picked the Georgia Bulldogs, and the winning score would be 12. And that's not enough scores.
Well, I do remember, I can't find it, but that's okay. That's okay because
So-
Rob says, "Oh, that's too bad. We don't have this. We don't have the thing.
Yeah.
So we can't figure it out." Let me try one more thing real quick. Footer.
You
I got
actually
this.
had it written on a piece of paper, but we could also tell you.
Yeah,
I can't tell you. I
got
can't
it.
remember
We
what
know what we know.
John's,
The one that matters the most.
We don't know what
Was-
John's was, but I will say that Scott and I picked the Kansas City
right
Chiefs
there.
to win, and we just froze it for a second. And Rob and John both picked
Hey,
the
there it
San
is.
Francisco 49ers. There you go.
Somehow I got it. All right. So now if I do this. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go over these results. Rob picked 49ers by a score of 34-24.
Right.
Big John Viscara by a score of 27-24.
True.
The hottest girl in the room picked the Kansas City Chiefs by a score of 27-24. Your erstwhile FDO also picked the Kansas City Chiefs by a score of 31-17. And of course, as we mentioned, Reese picked the Bulldogs by a score of 12.
Yeah.
And
she didn't quite understand the assignment.
the actual score, ladies and gentlemen, of the game was, shit, I just had that up. Oh, was 25-22 Kansas City, which means A was only 2 points off in either direction. And she picked the correct winning team. So A has the best score. I picked the Chiefs, and I'm quite proud of my scores. Is close enough. Not as close as my wife, close enough. But I picked Patrick Mahomes to be the MVP because the quarterback
picked
always wins a
Pacheco.
goddamn MVP.
And I was thinking, since Mahomes won it last year, he might not win it this year because if they win again, they should spread the love around.
Not how it works.
But Mahomes was like, you know what? Fuck all y'all. I'm the MVP again.
It's not.
Technically, he's not that kind of
For
guy.
some reason, the NFL is obsessed with the fact that, he did throw for 300 yards. I mean, yeah, it's a goddamn quarterback. Everybody in
his
this
job.
league averages like 295 a game. This is normal, relatively normal quarterback play. Of course, he did have another phenomenal comeback.
True.
But the quarterback always wins it, despite whatever else is going on. There were other people who could have won it. But I knew, because I know the foosball, it's always going to be the winning team's quarterback almost always wins. So there you go.
You didn't know we were doing mukbang too, but we are. This is pretty good from Trader Joe's. It's just a little cake bite with a little bit of
Cake bite,
raspberry
shit.
mousse, I think, on the top there. Pretty good.
That's delicious. Well, I'm not making weight tomorrow, but that's all right. We'll manage. Okay. Do you have any thoughts on the Super Bowl, babe?
So I will
we're
say-
about 5 more minutes with John Tweedy's Valentine's Day poetry. It's quite impressive.
So
it's
I'll
quite
say
impressive.
something happened this year. You guys mostly know this. I started. I mean, my brother and my stepdad, watched a lot of football growing up. They are both New York Jets fans. When Scott and I started working together in 2008, Scott insisted that I pick a football team, and I picked the Ionath Krakens, and he said no. One on earth. And so I picked the New York Jets, and then they hired Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not a person who puts up with that anti-science bullshit, so that disappointed me, and I was sort of free-floating. I was a free agent, if you will, last season. And an interesting thing happened because I was not mostly focused on my games. And eventually, as the Lions season progressed, I obviously became invested in the Lions. But during the beginning of the season, I watched whatever I thought was most interesting by looking at the actual players and the competition that they might have. And I'm actually speaking to almost everybody on here who likes football or is around football but doesn't consider themselves a big fan of football as much as they're a fan of Scott's GFL or whatever. I'm talking to you guys especially because this is the first season ever where I kind of just looked at the games themselves and the offense and the defense and what kind of a matchup that might be. And I got to pick whatever game I wanted to watch. And that was, I learned a ton. And I absolutely loved it. I do think that I probably gained a lot of fandom for the Lions because it was a spectacular season. I just said spectacular.
I know. I was going to mention
Spectacular.
I was like,
But
we got us a spectacular game of
season.
football going on today. Woo, woo.
So it was a spectacular season. I'll be honest. I'm sure there were dozens and dozens and dozens of hundreds of thousands of NFL Lions fans created this past season. Perhaps not as many as
Chiefs.
As the Chiefs.
There's a lot of new Chiefs
Swifties
fans.
can't be stopped, so I'm not gonna try and compete with that. However, I do want to be cautious because I feel like it was very easy to love the Lions this season.
It's all right.
And I certainly want
Trust
to earn
me.
out.
You'll earn out very very
Yeah,
soon. Next year might be good,
probably
but
so.
don't worry, baby. Once you pick a team, you will earn out. And it's, it can be rough. All right, we got 6:35. I think we're just going to move on to the John Tweedy segment.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and talk about it
Well, wait.
afterward.
Let's scoot a little bit because we saw, I just up because people were talking about their Valentine's Day. And Mary Garrett, she said she went there. I got second place in our Valentine's Day bake-off with my Black Forest tiara cake. And I want to know what that is and if it has to do with a real tiara. But other than that, let's see. I'm a fan of you. Yeah, Jennifer, that's sort of what I'm saying, my love, is... I know there's a lot of you who are fans mostly of football to hear Scott talk about football or write about football. And that's okay, too. But it was pretty interesting because every once in a while you'll come up with, I mean, you guys know the big broad strokes like everybody hates the Cowboys or whatever. And there are little things like if you look at the actual, this is the best offense, and you don't have to figure it out. You can just Google who is the best offense in the GFL or the NFL this week. And many people will tell you what they think. And then you go with whatever you want, I just looked at I'll look at these five pundits, I'll say, sports pundits. And then I'm going to pick whatever is the most winning of those and I'll watch that game. And I just learned a lot and it was a lot of fun.
So as we take a break for our John Tweedy poetry slam, I'm very curious. I know this fan group is not teenagers, probably. But is there anyone who is a Taylor Swift fan who is pulled further into football by the Swiftie fandom? I would love to see about that in the chat room. But you know what time it is right now?
What time is it?
It's time for John Tweedy.
Oh, I'm so excited. You guys, Scott told you that yesterday he had to take the day off and take a nap, and it was very great that he did it. I was very proud of him and very amazed. However, on Sunday, I got the start of a migraine, so I missed a handful of the football. I missed a lot, but I didn't get a full-on migraine, so that was great. And here I am today, and I'm super glad because sometimes I get migraines and they last for 4 days, and I would have missed this. I would have missed John Tweedy Valentine's poetry.
All right, you ready?
I'm not, but I'm ready.
Of course, the great Gherkin, will be channeling the spirit of John Tweedy. And let's see if I have this right here. We're channeling the spirit of John Tweedy. So we're going to need to turn off those lights. The spirit of John demands a certain level of theatricality, he calls
You
it.
need to turn off that one too?
Yes. John actually calls it theatricosity, which I don't know if that's,
fair.
he says it's the viscous nature of the theater. And I'm not arguing with him because he's huge.
Viscous nature.
Viscous.
Viscous nature.
He got the word
this one too.
He got the word viscous right, which I think was very important. It's right. It's up.
bottom.
It's up. It's the. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you give me a moment.
Ooh, moody.
And now, am I on? All right. Here we go. Please tell me that Maria D'Souza's in the house to watch. I want some candles. I got some poets. Poets like to use candles, so I got a bunch of candles coming right here.
Okay.
Can you hold one up there? Yeah, all right. Sure. All right. So, yes, my brother won the goddamn MVP several times, but you know what? He can't do poetry. Also, he farts a lot and he stinks. So here we go. It's Valentine's Day, and I wanted to make sure you all got some good felt John Tweedy's love, felt that love deep inside. So I reached deep into my own heart hole, and I now have some things to give you to put inside of you that were once mine. And,
Stephen King says, "Oh dear."
First of all, I'm going to open up with I've sampled several styles of poetry because I'm a student of the game, football and poetry. Limerick number 1. This one is Valentine's Day. So to Lola, an old girlfriend of mine.
Oh.
There once was a girl from Rodina. She was flexible like a real ballerina. She sold drinks in her car, a real bumpy ride bar. She could really shake up her cantina. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. She was a hell of a girl. Very flexible. Did I mention very flexible?
I didn't realize they were going to be Valentine's limericks.
Yes,
Do we get poems on Patty's Day?
Yeah, of course. I have a giant book of poetry. The letters are very large because I don't like the small type very much. John, that's how the letters are about half the size of the page, so it's a big book. Now I wrote a haiku, and I did a lot of studying on the format of a haiku. So therefore, here is your Valentine's Day haiku from me, John Tweedy.
Oh, hey, Mike Deschamps.
I write your haiku. 5, then 7, then 3 syllables. Thank you very much. Oh, I had that wrong. 5, then 7, and then 3 syllables.
Now it's a haiku.
It's very important. Very important.
Angela Clark.
Yes. All right. Now I have one other limerick for you. This is I wrote this to my brother Quentin, my other brother from the other mother, Quentin. All right, here we go.
Okay.
There once was a guy named Q. Throw the rock is what he can do. He runs really fast, but sometimes passes gas.
Oh.
Q's farts stink, and he knows it's true. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
John, these are spectacular.
I would like to point
They
out.
are spectacular.
I'd like to point out my brother, he's also really good at puking. Like, he's mega good. He's got a gold bucket and everything. We're very proud of him. The football, yes, but the puking is just spectacular.
John Cobalt,
amazing.
USA says he's one of your biggest fans.
Oh, God, it's that. Hey, John, how you doing? Hope you guys.
Preposterous Hippopotamus says everything about John is large.
That's everything about John is we'll just say plus sized, including sometimes my number 2s that can cause a lot of problems with traditional plumbing. All right, let's move on to now. Of course, it's Valentine's Day, and my first and true love, Ma. I wrote a sonnet for Ma. So I studied the format of the sonnet very closely and took a lot of notes and read a couple Cliff's notes on sonnet. So yeah, those are still around. How do I love Ma? Let me count the ways. I love Ma the most when she makes cookies, and also when she smack talks gangsters and bookies. When John and I were little, Ma, you called all the plays. You said we'd be big and strong one of these days. You were right, and we both did well as rookies, which makes us glad that you and Pops did the nookies. Otherwise, John and I would not be here, because the non-existent can't play pro ball. At our games, we know you will always cheer. John wants you to like him best. He's got a lot of gall. Q wants that too, but tonight he sheds a tear, because they both know you love Uncle Johnny most of all. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's a
Very
deep one.
nice, Uncle Johnny.
Thank you. Yes.
My sister Shannon Chavarria says she'll be looking for your line of cards at the good old CVS.
Yeah, that's still around too. It's crazy. All right. I was inspired to write that poem after I read a sonnet by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, who was apparently like really mega cool back in ancient times because she invented a bunch of rifles and guns and stuff. So props to her for bringing the violence, because you got to bring the violence. You know what I'm saying? She could play in the GM. Bring the violence. All right. And now.
Famous high school football rules.
That's correct. I got 2 more. I only have 2 more. To my one true love, Janine, although that doesn't mean Ma's not my one true love, because Ma is my one true love, but like there's a Ma love and then there's another love. And I think everybody knows those are kind of different things. So here we go. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have only 1 more. So I have to I've set this up for you, right? So I know I've had non-Ma true loves before. There was Lola. I mentioned her earlier. But Lola was lactose intolerant, and she didn't like cheese, and she didn't want me to eat cheese. So I did the honorable thing. I broke up with her because, for a while, cheese was my one true love. I still love cheese a lot, like a whole lot, but I also like beer, like a lot, like a mega whole lot of beer. And I like cheese-flavored beer. That's my favorite thing of all the world. So happy Valentine's Day, beer, and happy Valentine's Day, cheese. You guys are great. And then, of course, there was Becca the Recca. We dated for a while. I won't lie. I had it bad for her, but she's happy with my brother Q, and that's good. Although Q does fart a lot. I mentioned that before. Mostly when he eats cheese. And I hope Becca doesn't mind those lactose-y tuderoonies, because those can really, trust me, they can add up on you. So you see, things really all worked out for me, because now I'm with Q's sister Janine, and we're just head over banana peels in love. It's great. So this Valentine's Day poem is for one of my one true loves. It's for Janine. This one is in iambic pentagram. I have trouble with this word. It's pentagrammeter. So it's probably something crazy George would be into. I don't know, devils and spirits and wizards and shit. And since penta means 10, I don't get this structure, what it has to do with the number 10, but here goes. I gotta find my center. Hold on a second. To Janine. I go to store to buy a card for you. You strut around like cock-a-doodle-doo. You broke my heart and left the house, please. Your butt is great. I like to watch you leave. Thank you. Thank you very much. My self-published book of poems entitled "If You Can't Do the Time, Don't Do the Rhyme" is going to be out in time for next season. Buy it or you're mega mecha stupid. I mean, it's pretty simple, really, when you see this kind of poetry going on. All right, hold on. Apparently, I'm getting called back in the time warp.
Oh, no. Ooh, you're all right? You're all right?
What happened?
I can't tell you.
What
I
happened?
signed an NDA.
Oh, okay. I never really know what's going on with John. There we go. Mm-hmm. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, whatever the hell this went down, I hope you enjoyed it. We turn off all these. Where all these candles come from? Jesus Christ!
I'm setting the mood. It's Valentine's Day.
Let's see. We got to turn these off. Okay. Oh, can you get there? We go. We got our lights back on. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Maria,
There we go.
Maria
There
says,
we go.
tum tum ti tum ti tum 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 ti tum. Yep, that checks out. That must be the iambic pentagrameter.
I think Stephen King says iambic pentagram. That also probably works better.
Yeah, Alicia Vickery says, "Ode to a Fart" must be on the print version only. That's the Scratch and Sniff book. Scratch and Sniff book. There we go.
So when Scott told me that last week,
Oh shit! You've got one.
I did. I have one, but that's all right.
No.
Write it down.
Yep.
I
I put it on the fucking script.
I laughed out loud just in general because I thought that would be a fantastic idea, and then I tried to write one. So the one that I came up with, which is obviously
Ross Boss says, "Don't make a molehill mountain out of a skinned cat." Exactly.
precisely.
Exactly. Yeah, yours is.
I will say.
Wait, let's get you the main.
Not in John's actual voice that we just heard.
Sounds like
Clearly.
you got to do the voice. You do it your way, baby.
Roses are red. Iomat is blue. Q pukes on re-entry, and Iomat is blue.
That's fantastic.
That was mine.
That rhymes.
That's... No, it doesn't. It's the same word. Don't look a gift horse in the bush. That is almost assuredly going in a book, is my guess.
Jenny, email that to me. If anybody put in a Tweedyism that I didn't already have in a book, please email that to info@emptyset. We would appreciate that because sometimes it gets...
Don't make a molehill mountain out of a skinned cat is great. And don't look a gift horse in the bush is great and also unfortunately dirty.
I can get away with that. I can get away with that for the YA. Of course, let's finish up our trailing stuff. You guys should SIG text to 855-955-5095 if you're not there already. We're well over 800 people on the list. We're going to try and get it to 1,000. It's a great way for us to let you know what's going on, when new stories coming in. Of course, when we have these delightful episodes and not info empty set. Where's the newsletter?
I don't know.
Everything's all messed up. Don't have a newsletter. It's gone. It's gone. Since you've been gone, knowing how I made you feel. And of course, we've got Steve the Iceberg, Ricky Berg's Junkie Party coming up Saturday, March 3rd, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. and 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern Time. And
Was that Tweedy trying to bust back through? I think so.
Saturday. Whoops. Whoop.
Ask me.
F is criminy going on. Shiminy.
I spent a while at the this month's, which was last Saturday, a goodly while there. Not as much as you guys who are long haulers, who are very impressive, but it was super fun. And so if you guys have time on Saturday, March 3rd, you should join us.
Yeah.
I'll be there then too.
I won't be there. I'll be practicing, but
Yeah.
Ross Boss says, "Can GFL Book 7 be my Valentine, Scott?" There's some shit going on. Let me give you the schedule of Zastank, and then I'll explain what is going on with GFL 7. All right. Sunday, February 11th, in the past, Slave 46 went live in the feed. This Sunday, February 18th, coming up, Slave 47. Tonight's episode will go live in the feed. Wednesday, February 21st, a live read of Slay, episode number 48. And Saturday, March 2nd, Junkie Meetup. We don't know that. And then April 1st,
I think it is.
we're very close to confirming this. April 1st, Slay Season 1 in ebook and audiobook, and I will need all of your help. I will need all of your help with that one. And as far as GFL 7
I totally lied.
goes,
It is the second.
today was the first 2,000 words written in the Crypt Book 2. So have to get Crypt Book 2 due to contractual reasons. After Crypt Book 2, it's simultaneously I have to finish Crypt Book 2 and Warpath at the same time, which is going to be awesome. By awesome, I mean not a lot of fun, but we'll get it done. They'll both rock. And then when those are out the door, final draft of GFL Book 7. So we're looking at Crypt Book 1 out for sure this year, probably Crypt Book 2. Warpath will be finished. I don't know if they'll get it done in time. And then we'll finish GFL 7 this year, 2024. It'll be out in 2025. So all of you, as usual, stay alive. You got to hear the end of the story. So whatever you do, stay alive. I will find you. And I think that is about it, babe. We got anything else?
Unless you guys have any questions or want to tell us about your Valentine's Day or whatever, then we're going to head off a little bit early and I guess probably walk the dogs. Oh, I have an update for you. I know there are a lot of you who have noticed that our dogs were under the weather. Today is the day that they both kind of got the clean bill of health. They still both are taking meds for a little while longer to support Squeaky's liver, I think it is, and then antibiotics for Reese, but they don't know it yet, but they have not had their favorite nighttime treat, which is like a jerky wrapped rawhide kind of a thing, since January. And they're going to get them tonight because Squeaky's gums are healed, so they can have them. So it'll definitely be a happy Valentine's Day for them. I hope you guys liked hanging out with us and John Tweedy. Vaughn Lowe asks, how often is Scott in a tie? And the answer is not terribly often.
Not often. No.
We, the most frequent way you would have seen Scott in a tie in the past was to go to a convention, because for quite a while he chose to wear a suit jacket and a tie at DragonCon, at Comic-Con, at Phoenix Fan Fest, at Denver Comic-Con, all of them. So you would have seen him there, and almost exclusively there or at a wedding. In fact, we went to a memorial service for a good friend of ours this past weekend, and he did not wear a tie, which was absolutely fitting for the gentleman who passed, who would have died to think people showed up in formal wear for him. So, any other questions? I think no. Bye.
Looks like that's it.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
All right. Yeah. Ross Boss is pretty sure Mohill Mountain out of Skin Cat was UFO Book 4. There have been a lot of them. I can't remember all the brilliant genius that is in the mind of John Tweedy. Rob Otto, you want to tie him up with your tie? Let's pretend that we're actually human beings. I hope I got that right. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
We
are
see you next
done.
week.
I don't know what happened to my newsletter button. It's a bummer. I'll get it back.
He stole all the scripts.
Okay. We'll be back on Wednesday, February 21st for Slay episode number 48. Until then, sneeze. Until then, we want you to stay smart.
We want you to stay safe.
And for the love of safe.
Stay science. And for the love of that, stay informed.
For the love of that, stay informed.
How do you not know that script? How do you not know that?
Are you talking to me or you?
You.
You just said, I said, until then, stay smart. And you said, stay safe. This was you. You said, stay safe.
Oh, I lied.
Yep.
How do I not know that script? How do I not know that
I don't know. Here we go. Switching on over here. All right, ladies and germs. That is it.
Because I don't think the sneeze was scripted.
No, the sneeze threw everything off. Because it's Valentine's Day, a very special VD kiss off into the sky. Ha, ha, ha.